Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's video we're going to be continuing our Bible, reading the whole Bible of KJV version of the Action Bible. So as you guys saw, or you guys remember, last week we were learning about Noah's Ark, and how he built that, and the Great Flood and all that. So the flood has went away, and now this is some generations later. They have grown the population back up. So now we're getting today's story called A Babbling Tower, based on Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. As people from the cities work together, they become proud of the things they can build. They even dream of building a great tower. These are the pictures. Well, we'll build a tower high enough to reach heaven. It will make us famous and powerful, as they think to themselves, A tower that will reach to heaven, we rule, still full of themselves and things like that. They're doing it for fame and power. People can see it for miles. In times of danger, we'll rally our forces around it. No one is going to conquer and scatter us with this tower. We'll be invincible. But God is displeased with the people's quest for fame and power. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I lost my fame and power. To stop their work on the tower, he causes the people to speak in different languages. So this is where the different languages. Obviously, nowadays we have people who speak Spanish. We have people who speak Japanese. We have people who speak Russian. All them sorts of different languages. So everybody spoke the same language up until this point. So when God was upset, they automatically just started, speaking like this. And they couldn't understand each other, and they couldn't figure out, they couldn't remember how to speak in the other language. So what happened is they ended up breaking off and the people who spoke the same language ended up going off into different areas and, created the countries that we have now. You're talking gibberish. How can I work with a man I can't understand? Because they cannot understand each other, the builders are confused. They stop working on the tower one by one. Families who speak the same language move away. The giant tower called Babel begins to crumble. Different civilizations spring up speaking different languages, and soon the tower is completely forgotten. So they moved to different, places of the world, judging on how they could speak. And now we're going to get into one of the greatest stories. Obviously, we read this story not that long ago, but this will be the Action Bible. Might simplify it for you guys a little bit better, even for myself. This is God's wager based on Job. In a distant land, Job, a man who loves God, has everything he needs. He has 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camel, 1,000 oxen, 500 donkeys, and servants to take care of all of his needs. He also has a wonderful family, a wife, and 7 sons and 3 daughters. So now he has 10 children, he has great, property. You can even see just how, the beauty of what this is drawn. Servants, he was faithful to God. The Lord has blessed me to overflowing. Up in heaven, God is proud of his righteous servant, but Satan hates to see a happy ending. So he comes to God, and yes, he goes to God and talks to him. Job only worships you because you make sure nothing bad happens to him. If you didn't give him such riches and blessings, he would turn from you in an instant and curse your name. You think so? Very well. You may test him, take away his blessings, but do not hurt him. Satan wastes no time in striking Job with catastrophic, One day a messenger comes to Job. The Sabeans attacked. They stole the oxen and the donkeys and killed the people working in their fields. I am the only one who escaped. So they killed his servants, took off his animals. That same moment, another messenger arrives. Lightning struck the sheep and the shepherds. They are all dead. I am the only one who escaped. Then a third messenger comes. Chaldeans raided the camels and killed the camel drivers. I am the only one who escaped. So killing all of his animals and his servants. Yet another messenger arrives with bad news. Your oldest son's house collapsed, killing all your children. I am the only one who escaped. So now, in just a single day, a single moment, all of his animals, his servants, all of that was destroyed. His children were killed. You know, Job is saddened by the loss of his property and livestock, but he is devastated at the death of his children. He shaves off all of his hair in grief and rips his clothes to tatters, but he does not blame God for this misfortune. I came into this world with nothing, and I will leave it with nothing. God gave, and God took away. Praise be to God. I mean, that right there should be a motivation, and that's so incredible. Here he could be, curse you, God, you took them from me, or whatever, like many people do. If somebody dies in their family, they blame it on God and things like that. And oftentimes it is, done by our own actions and our own punishments. But in Job, still, after his children and everything was destroyed and taken away, everything, he still gave praise to God. See, Satan, he's a better man than you thought. Well, sure, since I didn't do anything to him or his health, but no one praises God when they're sick. So you think, ruin his health if you think that will have any effect on a righteous man, but do not kill him. Satan immediately returns to earth and strikes Job with terrible sores from head to foot. He curses Job with insomnia, and when Job does sleep, Satan terrifies him with nightmares. Job can't keep his food down and loses so much weight he can hardly move. So to this point, he's lost everything. He's basically a homeless man. He has sores. He is shrimped down to a little man because he can't even hold down food. He is sick. He has nightmares, insomnia, all that. Still, Job does not complain. But his wife, everything we owned and everyone we loved is gone. Surely this disease will kill you. You should just curse God and die. And that's his own wife talking to him. And he says, and Job looks at his wife out of painful, bleared eyelids. Don't be a fool. We cannot accept the good things from God without also accepting the bad. Even Job's wisdom was really just incredible as well. As we learned many times. When Job friends hear about the tabernacles, they come to sit with him in the garbage dump at the edge of the town. And this is the pages we're reading now. Okay, at the edge of the town. The disease has affected Job so strongly his friends almost don't even recognize him. For 7 days, no one speaks. They just sit together with their friend. Finally, after a week, Job breaks out with a cry of grief. I have done nothing wrong. Why is God letting all these terrible things happen to me? Eliphaz is shocked at Job's harsh question. Now don't get upset, Job, but from everything I've seen, God does not punish innocent people. You must have done something wrong. But I haven't sinned, and even if I have, God knows my heart and would forgive me. But Bildad is not convinced. Sounds like you're blaming God for being unfair, Job. I'm sorry, but if your kids were killed, it's because they must have deserved it. You have a chance to confess your sins. You should take it. I would confess my sins if God would come and tell me what I have done wrong. Job's insistence that he is innocent, or insist, or whatever, that he's innocent, offends his third friend, Zophar. You windbag, you don't know anything about God. You stubbornly insist that you have done nothing wrong, when the only thing that can save you is to apologize to God for your sins. Some friends you are. You do not comfort me at the worst time of my life. You think you speak for God. I only wish he would come speak for himself. Even if he killed me, I would trust him. So, he knows that there was nothing he did wrong. He had no sin, because in these times they made sacrifices and things like that for their sins. So he couldn't question. He's like, why is this happening to me? And his friends are getting angry with him because they want him to confess, and things like that, because he must have done something wrong in their eyes. But even as Job speaks to God, suddenly comes to him in a storm. Okay, stand up on your feet like a man. I will question you, Job, and you will answer me, as God speaks to him through this roaring storm. You think you know so much, Job. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Have you ever commanded the morning to come? Do you show the sun where to rise? Can you untie the ropes that hold the stars together? Can you rule over a magnificent creatures I have created? So he's like, as, when Job's questioning me, he's like, were you here when I created this planet? Do you hold, stars and space and all that stuff together? Basically, he's saying I am the creator. I am in change of the universe. I am in charge of the universe. I am in charge of over everything that exists. You cannot understand my ways. You cannot know the greater good I desire for you. Your place is simply to trust me. So he does not tell Job, still why, because obviously this is not something that Job has done wrong. It's God testing him. It's the devil. Doesn't think he, is going to stay loyal to God. And that's why God's saying you must trust me. So in times where you are at your lowest things, you need to trust God. Don't turn your back on him. That's the worst thing you can do. Trust God. Have faith, and trust in everything that He's doing. He created all that we see: space, time, earth, all that stuff. He's in charge of it all. Don't be afraid, and trust in him. He can do anything. In reply to God's speech, Job falls to his knees. I spoke about things I didn't understand. Forgive me. After this, God heals Job. He gives him twice as many animals as he had lost. He gives him 10 more children. Job lives for long after all of this. So on top of all that, after all that is done, he gives him twice as many animals, twice as many riches, another, 10 children, basically double of everything he had before, because, of everything. He trusted God, and I'm sure he has a wonderful home and things like that in heaven, and he's very blessed there as well. Sometimes it ain't all about the stuff that's here. It's what you should be more worried about what's in heaven, because that's where you're going to spend your eternity. That's going to be, from everlasting to everlasting. There's no time. There's nothing like that there. So, that's what you should be working on. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something new about Job, or, and, about how all the things have come, to what they are now. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And as always, take it easy.